Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cactus Patch. I am your host, Cactus, and today we are talking about streaming Splatoon events, mainly in the community, but also just overall, maybe in person as well. And who better than to have the one and only Joryan joining us here today? Joryan, how are you doing today?
Yeah, streaming Splatoon tournaments, events, that's me. I'm the streamer of all time, what my people say. And even at some lands too, people say that as well. And also, as well, Cactus, I remember like months ago, if you could look back to our DMs, I
Mm.
said literally, hey, it would be a good idea if you actually put on producers for an interview. It took like 3 months
Hey, not
to
bad. That's
actually have it
it.
happen.
To be fair, better than like a year.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, better than a year. But so
It's
yeah, no.
yeah.
So yeah, it's good that actually you're starting this out now. It's like because you already had a staff last time,
Mm-hmm.
Falco many times, and
Mm-hmm.
JPEG was like a long time before. So now they actually branch up to other producers. It's time to get go on the producer train because it's the time. Because right now as well, CCH has ended,
Mm-hmm.
Ludi is ending soon, and SAC is like halfway into the season as well. So we're
Yeah.
almost at the break period to get more producers to go on board if you want to talk to them.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so funny. From when you messaged me about that, I have a note in my phone. I didn't date it. Hold on. I literally could pull it up and say what I put it. Hold on. It's loading. Yeah, I literally called it podcast idea, get production staff, land staff, and high figures in the community. And that was literally all from your one DM. I was like, wait, that sounds like a baller idea. And of course, like this started the year, this first, I guess 4 months we're officially in, right? Pushing into the fifth
Mm.
month, has really been very, very eventful. So it's been full of having a lot of very important behind the scenes figures. Of course,
Mm.
now leading to you being here. Now instead of like the TO side of things, more of the streamer side of things, right? So
Yeah.
that's what we're finally making happen. Like you did say, a lot of these events are ending eventually. Popgun keeps making fun of me of it. We'll get Popgun soon. For all the Popgun fans out there who are here today because there's no Popcast, um, he'll be here soon. Don't worry, we'll make sure it happens.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, we already know from like 2 weeks ago that you are going to be on the podcast to talk about Gomel and not a Canadian. I can't believe you. I can be silly a Canadian's job to talk about Gomel on our Canadian land. I can't believe you.
Listen, I will have nothing but fantastic things to say.
Sure, coming from an American, but yeah. So I yeah, I think before we go into talking, because again, like you said, the podcast is not here,
Hmm.
so there is technically no weekly recap for results. So if you want to sway away for a little bit and talk about that real quick, because Popcorn's not here, we get to his bit technically.
Yeah, why
So
don't we steal a little bit of the Popgun mojo and
yeah,
see what events happened that are like of keen note. Hold on, I didn't even think about this. Look, let's see what happened last
but
week.
don't worry, I got you in the bag. Well, for this Saturday, the reason why said on their tweet why they don't want to talk about it is because Yellow Jackets won SAC. Surprisingly, it's Dio, Storm, Sig, and Kami. Sig, you should know because
Hmm.
they're a fellow commentator for Paddington and Dapple. Storm is a fellow photographer, and Dio is a TO for Sunset Surge, who yeah, recently did come out and also said about the next land for Sunset Surge is going to be in June 28th, if I remember correctly.
Oh, very
Nearby the end of the month
nice.
in June. So yeah, In the Zone happened on the same day, an hour earlier. Tung, which is a basic EU pickup, had one. Greg,
Hmm.
Walk, Soldier, and Yeti. And also, funny enough, funny enough, the Div X finals was supposed to happen that day, but because everyone wanted to play in the zone, it got rescheduled from the Ink Cup, Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Okay then, day one. Yeah, day one. Tiff is a known name that you want to know about that. Well, Tiff is a low level Tiff, so yeah, congrats to them. Trending Cup 5 on Wednesday, streamed by CKK, my goat. Another actually French pickup, PSG won. I think their team. Who knows? Mickey Beam, Chick-fil-A Destroyers. It's literally the weekly Warriors who won.
Hmm.
So Yeah, it's Hawashi, Liam, Kiki, Tico, and Argo. Hawashi coming back, by the way, after like a 2 month break. And Paddling Pool, Tomo is one. And the back reset. There has been 5 back resets in the past 5 weeks, by the way, for Paddling Pool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like we can go into that as well, like as we continue on talk, but the timing on that, having 5 weeks, as a person who's like been here for a long time, like for commentators and for the audience, it's good. But
Hmm.
but for someone as like a streamer who comes in like in every single week, like you do not want to do a back reset
Yeah.
because like it's tiring mentally.
Hmm.
You'll be here for like you here for like 5 hours. Usual tournaments is 4 hours, but that's like could be like 5 hours, and then the tournament was delayed by like 20 minutes because of a set. I'm gonna get super close to my mic because Hammy just said about it. But yeah, that is your weekly recap. Stolen from Popgun. Thank you, Cactus, for letting this happen.
Absolutely. I'm also gonna
That
raise you on my end just in case, so you're louder as well.
raised me to 200%, and then you get ear raped. But mostly, if you want to, 180 would be better.
There we go. All right, perfect.
There we go.
All right, perfect. And then on I think the only thing that I really saw on the side of the Ludi things, at least that happened relatively recently, Division Two finals that Popcorn actually got to commentate was won by Durburger in a 5-1 win over Loxier. Division Three being played as right soon after, being won by New Information, winning 5-2 over Dreamy Wave.
Oh,
Scanning over to the Splatoon tourney server for notifications to see what else maybe got streamed this week that I maybe missed. Um, we had apparently a Game 9 in Division 1 semifinals. So let's go over to Division 1 semifinals and see. That was Regular Show winning 5-4 over J Blast on the other side of the
that
bracket. They move forward to fight Serotonin, who won at a previous match against ASC Ryu 5-0.
did you just say Div 9?
Game 9 Division 1.
Okay, good because I heard you say Div 9.
Oh,
What? that
yeah.
that would have been funny. But honestly, like one thing on that, for the Div 1 Game 9, thank you Falco for subbing in for that because I fell asleep doing this. I fell asleep and accidentally, and yeah, and Falco came in and clutched to stream that, and then I did the 3 p.m. So yeah, thank you Falco, for doing that for me having soda and passing out because I was playing MonsterCon at 5 a.m. Yeah, basically, yeah, no, there's funny tablets like at the stream outside. There is other stuff we do than streaming. Don't worry, we have a life. It's just basically late night because yeah, our afternoons are busy. So yeah,
I know, absolutely. Listen, sometimes even the greatest need to rest a bit.
yeah,
Trying to see what else happened Ludi wise that I missed. Let's see.
five
Looks like there was a
five threes,
Division 6 semifinals. It was Cosmic wait, is that Cosmic
cherries,
Cherries? Yeah, Cosmic Cherries
got the
versus
cherries.
Singularity 5-3. Cosmic Cherries. Um let's see.
The funny thing is about Cosmic Cherry as well. They won Low Inc. in 2022.
Oh wow.
And then they came back. They're like one of the Louis teams now only. They don't play in Low Inc. anymore.
Oh,
So
okay, got you.
fun fact about that.
Let's see. We had
Oh
apparently
yeah.
a Division 7 semifinals.
Mhm.
Let's see who won Division 7 with that for the semifinals. It was Rainfall versus, well, how do you say that? Amenda
Amendment
Bobos.
Bubbles. Amendment Bubbles, yeah.
Okay, Amanda Bobos won 5-3 over Rainfall, so congrats to them. We had two more semifinals matches happen. We had Division 8 and Division 9. So over at Division 8, we had Ethereal over the Night Logic. Night Logic winning 5-2. Switching over to Div 9, that's WSH World. You had
Hmm.
Shadow Ancients versus Siphonophoric.
Yep.
Siphonophoric won 5-3. So a lot of not want to say super close matches, but a lot of ones that at least weren't a sweep. So congrats to all
Yeah.
those teams, and that was your weekly recap by Joryan and Cactus.
Well, one thing before that, saying on Ludi's side, if you look at Div 10 America, Splatophobe and Invaders. If you recognize those team names, why are they in Div 10? These are Semino to be called out for sure. Semino is an OG player back in 2019, but back in 2020 in Splatoon 2 days, and they
Mm.
were in Div 5. And I think the rest of the team as well were in Div 5, but they're all working at Splatoon Stronghold because technically Semino is retired. And Invaders, from what I heard, is someone stole the Invaders name.
Oh.
It was like a Mexican team that stole the name, and they got higher them than the original Invaders. And this is the original Invaders team with like a Div and a Div 1 player as a sub as well, but it's the OG Invaders.
Mm.
Why aren't they in Div 10?
You ask a very good
uh,
question.
honestly, like, well, I was honestly like kind of pissed inside. Like, why is Invaders at Div 10? But yeah, now that's definitely the weekly recap finished. So now we can continue with the podcast
Yes,
again.
absolutely. All right. Well, hey,
Yay.
would love to having our own recap. Hopefully, Popkin appreciates that. Obviously, probably stuff we missed, but hey, we're not the usuals at this. We're new.
Yeah.
Switching over to us though. First question I always love to ask every guest I have is, how did you get into Splatoon?
So how did I get into Splatoon? Here's the funny story about that. I am one of these Splatoon 1 players back in the day.
Okay.
I got into Splatoon because of the trailer, most likely. I don't really remember 100%. I had a Wii U during the time because I was playing Just Dance on it, and I was a 5-star player on it. So like every time I played on the World Dance Floor, I got 5 stars. But really, the main thing is like how I got into Splatoon itself. Yeah, it's because mostly the trailer itself, but mostly I think because of the YouTube side as well. I watched someone called Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone recognizes that name, that is an OG name that didn't come back at all yet. They moved on to like do like business and stuff like that. But yeah, they were like a big streamer on the Splatoon 1 days, and I joined their streams, and then I basically followed that hole and then went to Splatoon from that because I know it's a community, and then I had a and I was with a good community during that time
Mm-hmm.
with like fellow names from back in the day if you know them. And also I might have went to a rabbit hole with Gmod as SFM community members, and they went to that side as well, but we can talk more about that later because that's a topic too. But really, the how I got into Splatoon is really just because the usual gamer thing, because I just saw it and
Mm-hmm.
then I picked it up, played it with a community, and just had fun with it. And because I had good people with me, well, good quote unquote people with me,
Mm-hmm.
I just enjoyed it and survived all the way until now. And yeah, here I am.
And that's how it goes, right? As long as you're able to survive, that's what keeps you going in these communities.
For real.
So what drove you to join the competitive side of the community? Because obviously you have the people who join just for like turf wars, or maybe they just join
Mhm.
to play the game casually and go to streams and hop in PBs. But you went the extra mile and found your way amongst the competitive side of the scene. Take me through how you got to that point where it was like, oh shoot, let me check out the competitive side of the scene.
So how I got into the competitive side of the scene, funny enough, like I said with the PB, well, like I did join PBs in that, but then I joined a group of friends who back in Splatoon 1 had a competitive group.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Elite, and it was called Elite during the time. And technically, I joined them quotation, but not really. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was like the Elite Eight. So yeah, we had like a group of friends and we played on that. And then, funny enough, the first competitive event I did was the first Splatoon competitive event that was actually like ever existed.
Oh
The
wow.
Splatoon, the Splat, ever remember the Splatoon Squid Showdown, which had the four modes: Turf War, Tower Control, Waymaker, and Spot Zones, like all being played like each week.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it with group of friends. We survived to round two because it was a double elimination tournament as well,
Okay.
and it was actually on Battlefy when Battlefy actually first started. So
Oh.
the site was completely laggy. But honestly, like it was actually like my first time getting into Splatoon competitive, and then after that, I kind of like liked it. And also, if you remember a name called Tension back in the day,
Yes, I
like
think
in
so.
yeah, I actually met them all the way back then. They were one of my first Splatoon friends that
Oh
I actually
shoot.
played with. So yeah, I met. Yeah, so that happened, and then I after that, like I said, like, oh, I actually like competitive Splatoon a little bit. Like, let's keep playing it some. That was more like 2 years after when me and somebody separated
Hmm.
from the group. Like we kind of split, and when we and the first and basically when LSL and Lowing started, we started playing that. So literally, I can say, I guess I'm one of the grassroots players in the low level scene to actually start playing that because I
Hmm.
never actually played in like BNS and stuff during that time because those are high level
Yeah.
and that was on challenge as well, so it was hard to find. But yeah, basically during that time, how I started comp 3D was because it was some friends, and then just kept playing, and then after that, continued playing, and then basically in 2017, 2018, I guess we talk about the comp community, like how what drove me to go into it and continue actually all the way till like the end time because I'm technically am retired.
Hmm.
20 yeah 17, 2018, 2019 started the team called Outcast Ninjas. A lot of people, some people will be pissed about that name. I know why. I know why because we rebranded to Free Flow during that time. Uh,
Okay.
we we made it up to the five until we staggered, and literally this was during the time we had players like Winter, Blue, Shins. Some people will be knowing from the LSL. TOing Sunny was during that time as well. I'm not going to name one of the members because they're my ex and I really don't want to say it.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
they got me trauma. So yeah, literally that was one of its players as well. Junior was a player. They quit. And I feel like I'm missing someone, but I'm not really. And also, a player called Dabby subbed in for us for Loink back in the day. Squid, if you saw us playing Loink in SOS, they were someone back then. They were one of my OG friends. Ruby is my OG friend, who's actually an IRL friend as well. We were in the competitive spirit together, and PokeFan Z, who is a Smash player, competitive actually. I think like maybe it's like top 1,000
That's pretty good though.
in
Wow.
yeah, like all of us started together in like 2019, 2020
Hmm.
during that time before we branded Free Flow in 2021. And with that roster, we had JJ, obviously recognizable umbrella player,
Hmm.
who is the captain now of Free Flow. Cakes, fun enough, was our sub player for Outcast Stitches and Free Flow because we didn't really know if Case wanted to play with us because Case had a team before,
Hmm.
and how I actually got Case to play with us a little bit more was because of Launch Point Draft Cup 6, if I remember correctly. We were on it. Me and Case were on a team together with Leaf and Lycan.
Hmm.
Those Leaf you should recognize from Blue Moon, team that was playing in 2023. We played in Launch Point Draft Cup 6, and we won that, battling recognized sniper player in Aisa and Pixel Hearts, funny enough. So
No way.
yeah, yep. Pizza, me and Pizza goes way back then,
No
but yeah,
way.
but yeah, yeah. So Park, yeah. So Parks is another player that got
Hmm.
picked up after I left as a recognizable backline player. Shins still plays, but actually is retired now as well. And Blue comes in and comes out back and forth, but Blue mostly is going to be playing in Momocon as well with Fiflo. And
Nice.
then there is Swish, the last player on Fiflo that is on the active roster today,
Hmm.
who does play Tentabella and was a part of Light of Lear. And also is an Osu player, but doesn't play Osu anymore because they don't have a PC. But they are grinding sound full text at your local arcade called Zenith Arcade, if I remember correctly. No, like honestly, there's for so many times and it's so fun. You don't know the atmosphere or the community that the rhythm gaming scene has that is Splatoon players as well. It's crazy.
I think that my first real like look at that was when I went to Genesis X, and there was a handful of
Oh,
Splatoon players that kind of kept glancing over or huddling around the stations that were there because obviously everything was just in like a big warehouse pretty much. So of course
yeah.
the Splatoon setup was right next to the rhythm game.
Yep.
So we're just looking over at. I just look over. I just see all the like a good chunk of Splatoon players just kind of looking over at it. I'm like, I think that was my first time. Like, man, like it's really cool to see just Splatoon players sometimes just have the smallest like interest in other things and are all just happen to be here at the same time for this.
Yep, the weird thing is they're not also at the event, unfortunately,
Mhm.
but also is cool and also was actually at other events too. So you also better be here soon, but who knows? But also, actually, I did forget to mention, if you talk about lands wise, this might be a conversation earlier, but my first land was actually in 2019 at New York. LIS was 2019, if you remember that.
I think that was before I joined the community, so I don't know about that.
It was when Andy was playing, when Pika was still playing.
Oh, okay.
Milana was actually commentating with Dude during that time back then
Mhm.
as well. Dude was actually playing Guitar Hero with someone else I forgot,
That was
but
kind of based. I like that. That's cool.
it was really funny. Like I saw Dude playing with someone for Guitar Hero, and then I was just there in the corner, like I wanted to say hi, but I was too scared. Like I was just like lurking and then
Mhm.
playing Group Coast on the side because it was nearby as well. And then when they looked at me, I just panicked and left. Uh, but yeah, during that time too. No, honestly, I'll get to that later because that is a story if we go talk about lands.
Mhm.
So I'll get to that later.
Yeah, absolutely. You got it. Um, so you played competitive up until about the release of Splatoon 2, right? A little bit into the middle of it.
And funny enough, I played Splatoon comp until Gridlock
Oh,
won.
okay.
Yeah, because Gridlock 1 FIFA was playing with me. And after that Gridlock, when we took a point off Hunty's team, basically the guys knew that I am out of it. Like
Mhm.
there is something wrong with me and I can't really continue. I'm definitely staggered.
Mhm.
And it was hard to swallow, like for the first couple months. But after that, like I actually like accepted it that it makes sense that I actually was staggered because yeah, I'm not playing too much Saturday anymore. And at the same time, I was focused on actually getting going into work again to get money to wants to go to lands fight enough,
Mhm.
and also playing Osu as well. So my full mindset was not focused on Splatoon anymore, and also because of that certain X as well too.
Yeah.
So literally because of all that, yeah, no, they knew that my time was up, and even if it was hard to swallow for the first couple of months, I agreed with it, and they knew my heart was in protection as well too. So yeah, it kind of came full circle, and just they helped me lead to where I am today as well. So that's great.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really good that you were able to have that the support still, right? Because there's a lot of times you see things like that, or just it's scenarios where um you have players have a lot of drive, but unfortunately they're not just able to because they have a lot of other stuff going on in the background. They're not able to put the full grind to constantly keep improving, and because it's a lot, it takes a lot on you both, mentally, physically. Um, but it's really good to see that you were able to have a support system through that with the players that you played with as well, not just having to
Hmm.
find another support group. It was like those same people that were like, "Hey, like we love what you still do," and like, we're still here for you if anything.
Yeah, basically, like that's a good thing if you have friends from back then that's still here now who doesn't quit on you. Like basically, who still plays with you or just still hangs around. Like if you have a community,
Hmm.
that is just basically the main thing. If you have a community with you, that you have general some connections with, that helps you continue to drive and actually leads you off like when in a well off state though, so mentally you don't get like screwed over. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. So you played competitive up till Gridlock. So when did you start into the I wrote I know of TOing, but when did you really start like getting into the production side of things? When was the first kind of like interest you had where you wanted to start learning and progressing behind the scenes?
So, and the funny thing is, even though you were TOing, they're actually following in the same suit. Because actually, I did do TOing for some events back in the day, and some events like in the nowadays as well that some people might not know
Mhm.
because if it's in casual sphere. But TOing and streaming was during the time during the start of Splatoon 2 era actually.
Okay.
Uh, if you talk about Splatoon in general, there is a tournament on YouTube that has as a French stream or I think the Mexican stream called New Teams International Cup. That was the only like low level international event, just like Region Rumble or stuff like that, or
Mhm.
then that literally had like top low level teams battled off during back then in 2020 in 2020 I think or 2021. If you look at that stream for finals, there is someone called Dark Ryan.
Hmm.
That was me.
Oh shoot! No
So,
way.
my technically my first stream ever for Splatoon competitive was that because Polias during the time I was a commentator during that time as well too.
Hmm.
Polias asked about to do if anyone can stream, and then I had a PC that was fine enough to stream as well. So I started to go in and say, and I said like, hey, I can stream this, and then boom, that happened, and that was actually my first ever Splatoon stream. So yeah, it was really good as all for streams too for
Hmm.
any comp event like you did for Squid Junction a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was rough, but honestly, like the main thing is the graphics were rough, but the stream itself was fine. Splatoon 2 spec game was pretty bad, but we still played it off cool. Clampett still sucked in spec game as well, if you want to know facts about that. But yeah, that was my first time doing Splatoon streaming. But before that, first stream I ever did, also streaming actually for a 1v1 tournament that I actually helped continue making happen until 20 until I think it lasted a year because it was like a bi-weekly event, 1v1 tournament with a supporter badge prize that usually is basically like a badge for like Zenu, but we had to pay money for it.
Hmm.
So it's like that kind of event lasted for like 8 hours because it's a single day double elimination event on challenge. So like that was the first event that I actually helped stream as well. My PC was fine enough for it. It was like a 1080, I think, with a CPU of i5, so that was fine there. So yeah, it good enough that I used stream to that, and then that happened, and then I just found interest of continuing streaming because like streaming is fun, but you get to talk as well at the same time too. So
Yeah.
that was the same time that I started to do commentary at the same time too, and then after that, in the Splatoon side too, started to go into commentary. It got started to go into my commentary era from 2020 to now, basically,
Okay.
because of that like one time doing the commentary and thinking like, oh, whoa, this is cool. Like I actually can talk about them and talk
Hmm.
about people who I know because I actually play against them. So it makes sense
Yeah.
that I just be able to like spill what I might know, and also at the same time too in 2022 to 20 in 2021 to 2022 I got to do a little bit of controversy for commentary, but it was a funny little thing. But because that certain org is going under the radar now,
Hmm.
it doesn't really matter anymore. But honestly, it was kind of funny during the time. But main thing is after that, after the gridlock thing or during the gridlock, me leaving free flow in 2023 to 2022 off the dial actually was looking for people someone to stream.
Hmm.
And then because B actually like more want to go off of the side of like going to comp, take a break from playing in general,
Yeah.
and actually like doing something else because yeah, the certain person, the one name, I was too busy focusing on them and my friends, even the people from FIFA, saying that I should stop focusing on that person and that
Hmm.
person's content and focus on something else. And at the same time too, I was going to school for production, like for broadcast television. So
Okay.
I kind of like was starting to pull the weights for broadcasting and streaming from there too. So with that, I got the like adrenaline, got the like focus. I should start doing tournament streams.
Yeah.
And without the dollars saying that they need streamers, I slide in, did some for a couple months, and then after that, Toshi, Toshi Daru, a person who does backend for Bouillabaisse,
Hmm.
they were streamer for Squid Junction. And
Okay.
then one time, basically, I think it was like in 2023 or something, if I remember correctly, they said we need a stream for Squid Junction, emergency stream for Squid Junction. And then I was free during the time actually because it didn't have work. And then I said like, oh, I could do it. And then Toshi helped me set up the whole thing. I got my connection with Alice and Pinky, and then that was my first ever stream doing Dapple. And then because of like the stream actually going well, Alice and Picky and I think during the time Lip Blue as well commented like this stream was actually really fun, really cool. You should come stream it with us even more. And I did do that, and I continue doing that, and yeah, that continued my way to Dapple. And since Brownie left in 2024 because his Switch broke, and decided to never get it fixed again to help streaming. I took over Paddling Pool streaming for Dapple as well, and CKK is doing Trident Cup as well. I did a Trident Cup too at the same time as Paddling Pool. Basically introduction, like be intercorrelate because Toshi actually stopped doing streaming as well
Hmm.
for Dapple because they were getting burnt out too. And how I got to Splatoon 20 was because of Falco. Also putting out a forum for like, oh, we need streamers. I hopped onto that, and then I basically streamed like half of the tournaments, like after the matches for that Ludi season, and
Hmm.
then like it continued from there. Pipe Dream was there as well. We got to see a Pipe Dream face reveal from then. If I remember as well, Vice did some, Vapor did some. Girl Boss was there as well during that time, and Moo was there as well. But the main thing that actually was my like best like interest to have me say, I want to keep doing this no matter what.
Hmm.
DivX finals.
Ooh.
If you remember in season 15, uh, the whole overlay itself, there was clips going on in the background. That was all from my streams
Oh
that I
wow.
had it loaded on, and all the overlay changes that like kind of happening. That was kind of for me. The bracket scene got added from Moo. That gave it to me. Falco gave me the like Falco trusted me to do the Divac finals, and then yeah, that happened to be. And at the end as well, I made the credits for that, and then yeah, if it's like basically kind of like a heart project that happened really well.
Hmm.
So yeah, because of that, I decided that I wanted to keep going and have an ego now of being the Splatoon team of all time because of that. Like basically taking the second step forward in the scene. And
Hmm.
honestly, I feel like even though if it's egotistical, I feel like I'm up there now with Ellie. Like me, Ellie, JPEG, even though JPEG's retired, Hoenn. Well, no, not Hoenn. Inky is up there for sure.
Hmm.
Justin is there as well too, and CKK is there as well too. Because we're basically like we're the only active streamers who actually still stream events. Same as Black Cat as well. But if you look at Under Pressure, they're getting new streamers as well. So we're hopefully not going to be alone. Finally, we get to take breaks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And look, I think honestly it's a fair thing, a fair place to put yourself up because I mean, I don't think there was it's rare that I watch a tournament or I see a tournament where you weren't but at least for a long period of time back then where you weren't the spec cam person, you weren't helping stream the event for whether it was from Dapple or maybe it was helping out like IPL or of course with Toon Tourney. You were
Oh.
pretty much like everywhere. So it was really cool to see a familiar face when it came to a lot of the streams we were seeing.
Hmm.
And it helped kind of pave the way of like, hey, like, there's someone who's now a veteran at this that is going to that has perfected the form in a sense.
Yeah, but funny enough, Cactus for IPL, I actually never streamed for IPL.
Oh,
Other
really? Okay.
than other than the trailer for SAC before this season.
Got
That
it.
was
Okay.
the only stream that I did for IPL. Everything else, I could have had the chance to do SAC, but I was busy with work. But maybe there might be, you might see me doing a stream for this SAC season. Who knows? I'm just saying this as an open ended because most likely you will.
Yeah, no,
I'm
absolutely.
very
Well, hey,
sure.
regardless of even if it's not on IPL, you're still pretty much covering, if 70% of the community in areas for streaming. So,
Mm.
first I want to say thank you for all the effort you put in for doing stuff like this and really, paving the way for what a stream should look like because now this is obviously a point where now we're at a part of the year where a lot of things are slowing down. You have a lot
Mm.
of events that are finally ending. And this is really the time of year where now we might see a lot of people breaking out of maybe school or working a little less, and they want to try their hands at me stuff like this. So you're
Mm.
able to really have that knowledge and share that experience. And of course, what better way to also share that experience than here, as well. But it's really cool to see how far you come in the types of things that you've been able to stream.
Like literally, and all the barriers I had to like bounce through to actually like do streaming, like to have the mental
Hmm.
enough to do streaming. Like it sounded like a bad thing when I said like to have the mental to do streaming, but basically like if you have a vibe that is like good enough, like like, oh, you're having fun, or the comms are having fun, you are having fun.
Yeah.
But if you like, if the vibe for commentators like is like not really that fun, like they're just like kind of chill enough, or they don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens, like as a fair note, just honestly have something on the side to keep you entertained. Because as a streamer, you are the one that have is like literally running the event. So it's could be stressful. Like it's mostly it's for stressful for a lot of people, but the main thing though is like you can have auto spec on the whole time and no one will notice because the scoreboard is covering that screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like really all you need to focus on is just putting in the right score. If you want to do replays, because again, like you said, replays is now technically implemented in every stream because of help from me
Yep.
and help from also Falco as well, because Falco kind of started that as well, and Ali put it on the side as well, not UP, and then it basically became a thing altogether because of that. So yeah, thank you Falco for like that exist. So yeah, literally because of that, the replays now exist, and if you want to do replays, you can do that, but you don't need to do replays if you don't have the specs for it, like if you don't have the time for it. If you don't have the actual way to do any replays to do it, just go with a regular stream. Just go from the map screen, the game screen, commentary screen if you have any. Just go between those three, and then you'll be fine. Like you don't really need to be like going all out for it, or like be super into it as people think, because the only thing that you have to be super into is just like making sure everything going on time, watching the bracket really. But if you don't have like a bracket manager with you, you'll be on your own. But if you're like a new streamer doing that, or if you're like in under pressure or an IPL,
Mm-hmm.
or even doing Training Cup, you will have a back manager with you to help you hold your hand. But like for Squid Junction as well, well, this Squid Junction doesn't really count. But for like Paddling Pool,
Mm-hmm.
you for me, I'm on my own. But the reason why I'm on my own is because Alice trusts me, Pinky trusts me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know that I have know so much about how to run a bracket, like how to go on schedule, that they know that they can just leave and be fine with it. And
Yeah.
if anything happens, I could just call them, or the TOs will call them, or AKA actually the players will call them and then say what's up, like if anything is happening. But
Yeah.
really, the main thing is like if you want to do streaming, it's not really that hard. If you have the PC for it, it's not really that hard. The setup wise might be a little bit hard, but you just need to have the mental for it to be in a good vibe, in a good environment. Like you don't need to be there 100%. You just need to be awake enough to actually do it
Mm-hmm.
and be able to stay there for 4 hours or for 5 hours, depending on how long the tournament is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You gotta have that I forgot the term that's used so much for like
Tolerance,
yes, tolerant.
resilience.
That's it. Thank you. Yes, you have to have the tolerance to be able to handle, being able to sit that long and keep yourself occupied and be able to handle that much consistency when it comes to all the games that you have to be handling, plus any times you have to switch, like you said, switch the scenes over, switch over to
Mm-hmm.
the games, change of commentators, right? If you end up streaming a lot
Mm-hmm.
the entire event, you have to be able to know what you're changing and going
Mm-hmm.
forward. And of course, like you said, the dreaded bracket resets that for players might be fun and interesting, or for the viewer it's interesting and fun, but for the streamer side it's like, please make this quick.
Yes, and literally at the same time to talk about that, like that resilience, like if you think 4 or 5 hours is bad, if you take that into a land setting, it's even worse
Oh
because
yeah.
you'll be because again, if you use you already know from Gen Game that the person streaming for T Max, yeah,
Mhm.
T Max, they were on that hot seat for basically like 8 hours
Yeah.
usually, like 8 hours doing the whole thing, but setup as well. It takes another 2 hours or 10 hours being behind the scenes setting up, then doing teardown after, and actually stream the whole event because they are the main streamer for that.
Hmm.
And at the same time too, like if you want like a Riptide or LTC, and also for other events too, like even for the land championships as well, like for the streamers like Floppy, Avery, is the person who does H Town, and me and Kurt for Booyah Bay. Me and Kurt again for Sons of Surge.
Hmm.
And New Inkland, I don't know 100%, but I think it might be able, or I heard Doughboy worked on that as well.
Hmm.
And for Gatorland as well, CKK was already back in that hot seat. We stayed there for 8 hours. And literally we got help from literally all the players as well, or the TOs to help us out like through and through, like actually like giving us snacks, actually if we're okay, swapping in and out, like if we need to like take a bigger stuff. During Bria Bay and during the Sunset Surge, I literally swapped out with Kurt just to have a break on like getting food and that's it. But during the whole time, I was really there. And but more importantly for us, Booyah Bay actually, well, all of the Sunset Surge because Pepe was being the go and Jojo being the go, like the people who were TOs or like friends with me, like, and even like some of the new people as well in the community. When I talked to them on Sunset Surge, like I like we got to communicate with each other, chilled out, and honestly, because of that, on the day of, they actually just came to me like, "Oh, hey, have this, like this to keep you alive during the whole event, during the whole stream." And like for BA, like saying on that as well. Main shout outs to Vice who held me housed, Fufu who was technically still there with me during the whole time as well. Kronos being honestly one of the goats as well, like being next door. Toshi as well, definitely being one of the goats, like doing the spec game and actually helping me with junior bracket. And Kurt, surprisingly, even though like in fair honestly, like in bluntness, I had a bad idea of Curve when I started to come in for Booyah Bay. But when I actually went to Booyah Bay and helped with production on there, Kurt is actually like it's a mystery, funny enough, because Kurt has a background in Pokemon TCG.
Okay.
And literally this is the first time doing Splatoon. But because Vice not knows about me and doing Splatoon streaming like so much, me and Kurt butted heads in a good way because Kurt knows so much about the audio that I don't know,
Hmm.
and I know about streaming Splatoon that Kurt doesn't know. So funny enough, we butt heads during the whole time in a very good way because we were teaching off each other. And getting that experience from Kerr or getting that experience from Booyah Bay, like having another streamer to having an outside source to go into in the future, that's a place where a streamer wants to be.
Yeah.
If you're going to like the career I am with esports streaming, because you need to branch out Splatoon one day, and where would that be? Like, for example, like for Ellie has if you look at her Blue Sky, she's done League for a collegiate league in Asia, and she made overlay for that. Where would others be as well? Like for PS2 for Vapor has broadcasting like at their college, and they have broadcasting for collegiate as well. And most likely, Almost and CKK will be going to that route as well. Well, CKK has software engineering. JPEG just recently got a job as well for software engineering,
Hmm.
and because of the help from Level One TV. And before JPEG went to Level One TV, JPEG did Splatoon. Like, basically, that's the thing. Like for streaming is if you take one step here from streaming, where do you want to go next? And when me going to BFA, her helped me out so much. Now I have a connection there, and maybe I can maybe help with Pokemon soon enough one day. Who knows?
Yeah, no, you never know, and that's one of the most important things in this kind of field when it comes to production overall, right? Not even just esports, but in production in general, is having those connections. Because a lot of times they say it's not what you know, it's who you know, and
100%.
yeah, yeah. So it's good to have that kind of build up of people you're able to make those connections with, and also be able to either help out or get help from. So you're able to continuously, find work in general, or be able to branch out if you're always interested into other things.
100%. So literally in that sense, like if you want to go into production like as a streamer and want to continue as a streamer for production, like you can take courses for college. That will help you in some sense. But if you want to go into esports, like esports is the future. We all should know this by now. And in some years' time when competitive like has more of a footing, they would want to do more streams on it. And they need to find people for that.
Yeah.
And if you might be the one who's to step up for it, if the time comes, that's the main thing.
Hmm. No, absolutely, and this is what is honestly doing it in your spare time is a great way to learn. Like many people are always afraid to take that first step to try to learn it themselves because they feel like you need like
Mhm.
an education first to back it up. But many of the people that you see nowadays that are starting to get into it or really have it under wraps of the knowledge they gain from it, it's because they just started doing it for fun. right? They just
Yeah.
decided to take that leap, like, hey, let me download OBS or let me download Streamlabs and let me just mess around with it, right? Let me just,
Yeah.
have some fun. And it's even better if you're able to do it for like a game you love or that has the a streaming background tied to it, like Splatoon does, or Pokemon
Mhm.
does, or other games like you've mentioned before, like League, or especially like games like Valorant that are really popping off now too. Like they all have those kind of production areas where it's like the communities probably have their own smaller tournament that they want to run, and it's
Mhm.
always a good idea to just, hey, if anything, go on in and just ask if you can even just see how it works, because
Mhm.
I'm sure they're more than happy to get more people into it.
Yeah, and definitely in talk about that sense also is one of those as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the main thing, but really in the sense of like doing like saying like, oh, like why not go and like and teach about that, like the main thing for us compared to other streams, like on YouTube, if you search up like how to do a Splatoon stream, it's hard to find like how to do a Splatoon competitive stream, because back in the day, like back in like 2022, 2023, there was a tool back then to do an overlay because of a German, because of a EU player actually made one for their tournaments back then. But I think it was actually for the what we know today as the damn, I forgot what the league is called, but it's the Germans, it's the French Splatoon competitive
Okay.
part, that name. Yeah, name it that. But that video somehow disappeared. I don't know how, but it somehow disappeared. So
Yeah.
the only video that exists, funny enough, is from WTP Esports. It's funny enough how I missed Tommy from, with yeah, okay, that's as well, and how somebody actually maybe turned into a junior player. Uh, there was a video about how to stream Splatoon and how to commentate Splatoon back then,
Mm-hmm.
but that video is super outdated. So yeah, it's there, but it's kind of outdated from there though. But there is a document from Boeing, who is an OG Splatoon streamer back in the day, who did IPL and did stuff like, I think, Endgame TV. If I remember correctly, I don't know 100%, but definitely know IPL. They made a document about how to do spec cam. So if you find that document, it will help you worthwhile. But anything else that you want to like learn from it, there's nothing of that exists. So someone should make that soon, and that is going to be in the works. I'm saying that right now. But how to actually stream Splatoon today, like how to
Yeah.
do shits.io, how to do shits.io. Technically, Nate did do that already with Ellie, because Nate did put out a video about how to do the automated scoreboard with shits.io, because Nate actually made a tool with help from Ellie, Z, and Falco to actually get that onto your stream. And technically, you just need that for a tournament. So technically, that tutorial's already there. So nowadays, we have that like experience to do it. But if you want to go and take a second step, we don't have that yet. But that will be made soon. I'm calling it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think I remember since you like were on the topic of like things that were made, I think there was like a server made for commentators, or new commentators and experienced commentators that could just kind of go in there and ask questions and have resources available. And
Hmm.
I think they were talking about trying to get a video made by it, but I don't think anyone's been able to kind of like uh kind of jumpstart it and make that, make the steps to getting there, to making it a video and pushing for it, which hopefully soon.
So that is the Splatoon Broadcaster server,
Yes, yeah.
created by, helped by Pat. I forgot who the other people who made it, but definitely know Pat is one of the head people who made it. So because of that, because it just actually relaunched a year ago, actually because of Pat. So it's a good start for commentators and actually for streamers too, and TOs as well, to like to know how to learn actually how to stream, how to do commentary. But again, all those need to be updated because it's been so long. But also, the Splatoon Stronghold has a video about that too, about how to like get into commentary as well, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
So yeah, there is new resources, but not fully fleshed out yet. But it will be here soon.
And that's something that a lot of people that are going to be interested in getting into the background of things rather than just being kind of the player, now helping on the production side of things, by all means, there should
Mhm.
be excited to look forward to, because it's going to be a lot better than having to just constantly ask different people. Instead, it will be in one place rather than scavenge around and pick brains.
Yes, and honestly, like we definitely need more streamers, and for enough, we need more weekly commentators. We do not need more tournaments. We
Hmm.
just need more streamers and commentators because if you want to have if you want to have a spot, if you want to have recognition of a scene, we need to have streams. Like Charles said in the tweet a long time ago, we need to have more content out there
Hmm.
for us to be seen. And how is that going to be happening? In the tournament side, we need more streams. We need more commentators. Like having the commentators right now is good, but again, commentators get burned out like streamers.
Hmm.
We need a break. So yeah.
Yeah, the more people that you're able to have to stream those events or even commentate those events, the less burnout will really be had because you're able to just continuously rotate those people out.
100%.
Yeah. So you did talk about how you got into streaming online events. Take me to LANs. What was the first LAN you ever really like pushed to TO for and to stream for? But really like what made you want to break into doing it in person rather than just say like, hey, you know what, like online's not the only thing for me. Like I want to be able to do like this stuff more frequently around.
So for the first time doing, okay, so it that's actually two different sides of a coin because the first time that I wanted to be there, like say like, oh, I want to do this,
Mm-hmm.
was because of Long Island Summer Spot 2019.
Okay.
Because because during that time I kind of started to be a commentator as well, and I saw the production side as well on the other room. And I was looking like looking at it like, oh my god, that actually looks so cool. Like I want to see if I can actually try to do that one day. And then that was in the back of my mind the entire time. And then how I started to go into lands was funny enough because of Big Dapple. That was because that was technically, well, no. Big Dapple was the one that actually helped with production to do Spec M1, but Riptide was the one that I actually started to do a Spec M shift on. And I think that was my first big comedy career too. But really, the main thing is though, Big Dapple was the one that I actually did Spec Cam on first, and then Riptide I could do Spec Cam as well because Crackbear recognized that I'm a good Spec Cammer, so I could do doing that. And then the first time I actually did a production was on Sea Battle. Funny enough, other than Big Dapple, that Sea Battle was the first time I actually helped the production full force with Saf and Mint.
Okay.
Did funny enough in January because yeah, there's all before LCS, and I was only a Big Dapple main or Gridlock main to go to for lands because that
Mm-hmm.
was the closest.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first time I actually was helping productive full force was in yeah there in Sea Battle, and what made me say that I want to do this more. Well, one thing was because of the Line Championships. It was an important event. They need to have all good streams out there. So me taking my own will to say I want to help out the scene, help out LCS to do that. I technically became the Splatoon 20 representative to go to these lands, and definitely I know as well because I talked with I talked kind of with Vice and Paper, but I definitely talked with Pepe and Terror, who does the streams for Bria Bay and does the streams for Sunset Surge. They don't have a streamer. Like I said before, for BMA, they had Kurt, who doesn't do Splatoon streaming, and for Salsa Surge, Pepe was the one who was running it the entire time and TOing.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that, like I thought about it and said I thought about it, and with LCS coming up, I'm gonna take the gamble and go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I did it, and literally with that, I met again so many people. Well, for the even some for the first time, like Toshi, who was again a Dapple streamer, like, and also at the same time for Sea Battle, the last qualifier, I met Dynamite for the second time because the first one was Riptide, but second time full action, two Splatoon 20 streamers going full at it. That was a peak stream because we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
And Zeph needed help. So yeah, basically, the main thing what kept me like to literally make me go was because one is because of the help with LCS,
Mm-hmm.
but really it's because land environments are fun. Like
Yeah.
if you're on a LAN, you have people to chill with. You have someone to talk to any single time, or help you get out of there. Like honestly, I'm again shouting out Pepe because Pepe is an extrovert. Pepe wants you to have a good time.
Yeah.
And literally because of that, you can just be dragged into something and enjoy it because the community is so nice that you'll have someone to talk to. Like you don't need to be shy. Like because if you're shy, someone will still come up to you and help you out there.
Hmm.
So the land environment is just great. And like at the same time too, I have to say for Booyah Bay, at the end of the event, Helix, who was a part of No Boys Allowed, an OG player of Splatoon as well, literally just came up to me and said like, "Oh hey, thanks for streaming. Like it's like I know your work is so busy, but it's so cool to see like that you come all the way out here to do it." And I was shocked because of that, because
Yeah.
literally like a top player like actually recognizing that kind of work. Because usually for top level players who doesn't know about production, who doesn't know about like streaming,
Hmm.
they don't care.
Hmm.
But for the people who actually look at it and actually do care, like they are so nice, and definitely in the line environment as well. Like they are an extra level of niceness that you never recognize. So yeah, I just like to go there and go to lands and help with production for lands just because of the vibe. It's so great to see, and it actually feels like your work is getting paid off as a streamer because you are helping out like TTOs as well because you know tech issues,
Yeah.
but it just that it's gonna be a good time. If there's any like issues that's going on, you'll help from the TOs and from the community as well. They'll say like, oh, you'll be fine, don't worry, it's gonna be okay. It's like you'll have people on your back to help you on the during the times of measure. Comparing to being at home in your room, being stuck here for 4 hours or 5 hours on your computer, mentally draining. Like
Yeah.
like it's a totally different alignment, obviously. So yeah.
No, absolutely. The land environment is always a fun environment to be in because you get to be somewhere in a public space, all playing, talking, and viewing something that you all are there, and enjoy. And that's Splatoon, right? And no matter what it
Mhm.
is, maybe you're a competitor, maybe you're just there as a spectator to enjoy, or maybe you're a member of production. You're all there for one reason, that's to have an amazing time at such an incredible event. So
Mhm.
definitely, a complete different vibe than if you're doing it online.
Yeah, 100%. So literally, if you are like want to help out a LAN for streaming, like for the grassroots streaming to be exactly, like get a LAN, New Ink LAN, for Chai Shoals, for Sea Battle, for Booyah Bay, for Sunset Surge, even I think for Vancore as well. Like just go ask to help out because us as streamers, even at LANs, we need help because we're most likely all alone, and mostly the TOs are going to be helping as well. But they're busy as hell
Yeah.
because they need to focus on like the other tables to do score putting as well. So for streamers on LANs as well, we need help, and if you want to help, just come ask us. But not, we don't bite.
No, yeah, exactly, right? You're there to be accepting of any questions had or any help that some people want to offer, and that's I think which is really cool. I mean, I remember at Big Dapple they didn't have a main I think it was the I think I think it was the one right before the qualifier. They didn't really have a spec cam person, so they just kept rotating people around. They were asking different people like, "Hey, have you ever tried it before? If not, do you want to give it a go?"
Yeah,
And it was a really cool opportunity for a lot of people to go for the first time, try spec cam and just learn how it works, see how to do it in general. I remember I forget who it was, but I was talking to a player who never did it before, and they were talking to me about like how like they're a little nervous. I was like, hey, listen, I was like, honestly, the biggest thing to watch out for is just look at the top of the screen, look at the bar, and just keep an eye on how those specials are building up, and from there you'll be able to really catch any good plays. And I just remember like from that point forward, like they constantly just kind of kept that in the back of their head and were just being able to capture so many great moments that a lot of the matches and games were being had, and it really changed the outcome whether where they maybe could have just went in blind and just didn't bother asking anybody for help. So um it's it's an amazing opportunity that a lot of people should be able to take full advantage of.
I feel like I know who you're talking about because that could be chicken. That could be chicken. That could be when that could be like two people for Gridlock as well, or that could be actually Squidneck, who is a TO at Metro Inc. as well, because they actually won the event a long time ago.
Hmm.
But the first time doing spec game was during Big Dapple 4, Big Dapple 4 during that time, and because yeah there were no other spec games because I was playing during the same time. I wasn't able to do two things at the same time. So during the time that I actually was playing, or if I was forced to take a break because of the law, and and Andy and stuff, that's when they got other people to come in to do spec cam, and that's when they got to learn from that. But here's the caveat about that though: it's a good thing that you were there to come help because Andy and Law was supposed to help with spec cam, like people teaching people spec cam,
Hmm.
but because they were busy, I stepped up during the good luck and saying like, oh, so these are the things that you want to know about, and I actually helped teach Gwynnick how to do spec cam and chicken as well, if I'm correctly during Big Dapple to do spec cam, like how it the tips and stuff. So and also Wen as well. I helped Wen as well. So yeah, it's a good thing for spec camming, like for Metro Rank, as you pointed out, to have people rotate and try it out because we need more spec cams.
Yeah, and if you're someone who's not sure about spec camming, just give it a go. You know what I mean? Or even like I know something that when I this was probably like over a year and a half ago when I thought about
Mm-hmm.
trying out spec cam stuff. I remember asking a couple people about like what to look out for and things like that, but also just like I remember going into a random PB like of a game. No, it was a random replay I had. That's right, it was a random replay,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started just practicing. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
sometimes that's all it takes is just you gotta hop into like a game or whatever and just like have the replay on, just go into the overhead and just kind of like switch to different POVs, get used to the buttons, right? Figure what they do. Um,
Yeah.
and that's gonna help you a lot moving forward and you'll have some kind of knowledge going into it rather than just like deciding to just go straight in blind.
Yeah, but and also as well, like talk about having knowledge before them, before going in blind. If you're a player already, like if you're already a comp player, doesn't matter if you have Div 10 or Div X. If you have knowledge already, use that into your spec cam. Well, another tip is just hold ZL the entire time, unless you're trying to go into overhead cam, then take off ZL. Uh, if you hold ZL during that time, you get to see the special gauge about how much specials before they have it on full blast, and also the weapons and also the buttons, like where you can see who swaps with who. But since you have game knowledge already, and you know how to do callouts as a player, take that into your spec cam. The reason why is because think that you're in the match. You're on either side of the team. Where should you go next to actually make an effort to help your team to win? And that's where you should look at as a spec cam. Is basically take a next step forward, like take the thought forward of what the other team should do,
Mm.
and then focus on them because that's most likely what is going to be happening to help the game go like full way. Like for example, say that there's a Zuka play that's going to be coming up soon. Like the Zuka's at 50% already, and the commentators talk about like how the other team can go up ahead. As a player, and as a spec game as well, like the Zuko's gonna be coming up soon. I should focus on them. And because they're gonna make a big play on tower control, a big play on Splatoon to be kept the zone or take over the tower and maybe get a triple off that. Or say if there's a carbon roller just in game in general. Focus to come in on the sneaks. Because they will be sneaking no matter what. So
Yeah.
if you have just general game knowledge about how anything happens, or like how a game flow could happen depending on the comps, you'll know what you want to look out for. But if you don't, you just listen to the commentators. You have commentators with you for a reason, and that is to help you to actually know what to watch for. Yeah, they're there for the viewing pleasure to actually like have like something to look at and hear at while the game's happening, but they are there for you too to help you out to figure out what to say next. So for what to see next, I mean, sometimes it might be hard, but they will say something that will catch your ear and that you can focus on. So, and a general tip of how to do spec cam, it's basically just be able to listen to your commentators or just have have some knowledge about the game, and then you'll be knowing how to do spec game yourself. But the more you do it, the more you get better at it. That's the main thing that anyone could say. Like
Hmm.
playing the game.
No, absolutely. And it's talking a lot about like how like for other people to really start getting into spec cam and just streaming in general. Um, but how did you learn about some of this stuff, or what was your kind of background knowledge in being able to learn how to do spec cams itself, or being able to set up streaming in general? Because I know you said like you originally like had reached out to some earlier onset events back in like 2017 to 2019 who needed the help with it. But how did your knowledge begin with that kind of stuff?
My knowledge with spec camming and streaming happened at the same time, more or less. Streaming was during the same time of me doing off the dial
Mm-hmm.
with the help of DJam, who taught me how to do streaming with Nose.cg for the first time.
Okay.
After that was streaming on CHIO, which Falco helped me on, and Ellie helped me with the second step to learning more of the alchemins and all that stuff. So she really helped, honestly, like Ellie and Falco helped me to be where I am today, so I gotta thank them for that. But for spec game wise, though, it's kind of funny because DJM was the first one who helped me out, but then after that, I did CCA streams, funny enough, during the time of Ludi season 15,
Mm-hmm.
and DOF was the person who actually helped me to help me with spec game even more because DOF actually gave me tips how to do spec cam, and I took that one more to heart. And then again, go to the times of now, people are commenting about the spec cam as about spec cam still, and talk about like some critiques about spec cam. Like for me, there's a critique on on about myself about my spec cam is too fast and could be like too fast and might make people nauseous. So I'm taking like a step to like slow down my speed of how to do spec cam because so people can have a enjoyable experience on there as well. And also one thing as well is avoid screen at all cost. If you
Mm-hmm.
put on screen, people will still get sick. Do not do screen. Like try to avoid screen at all cost.
Yeah. No, absolutely, yeah,
So
because it still has
yeah,
that the effect to it. Not even just if it's not even for some people it's not visual. It still has that audio issue, so that's another
yeah,
big thing to watch out for it.
yep, 100%. So that's why you avoid screen at all cost, or try to make it like the game has no screen at all. But really, to learn about spec camming, I learned from DHM and DOF, and after that, I just continued doing it. And since I continued doing it, I just got used to I got used to having the controls because if you know a pro controller already, you don't really need to look down. You just need to look at the top screen. But all you need to remember is just the R button. Because the R button has your objective camera, your overhead camera, and I think there's another camera, but I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, overhead, like fully overhead, because
Yeah.
there's free cam, overhead, and objective camera, and that button could be a little bit confusing because for objective and for objective and free cam, you can do ZL right thumbstick down for objective, and then ZL right thumbstick up for overhead.
Mm-hmm.
But to do full overhead, you have to press down the R button. The R thumbstick, not the R button. The R thumbstick allows you to do free cam. After that, you can hold CL and up and down to actually do the other stuff. But to do auto cam is ZL and R. Those are the two combinations that don't be said on the in-game overlay itself. You can only find those in the like instructions before the game starts. But anything else, you just hold ZL and just press the buttons that's on screen, and then you're fine.
Hey, these are the tips that if anyone's watching should be writing down now, just in case.
Yeah, it'll help a lot for you. But for streaming, like again, the streaming thing, how I learned that again is from OTD, going
Mm-hmm.
to Dapple, going to I guess Splatoon 30 and Under Pressure. You have someone there for you, like and even for IPL as well. CKK helped me out on that to actually set up the overlay for SEC whenever that happens. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you'll always have someone to be with you to help you on that. And like for the whole rundown as well, someone will be there, like that streamer person will be there for you, or the TOs will be there to help you out, like to say like, oh, are you forgetting something? Like, oh, you're forgetting something. Oh, you should maybe switch to this screen as well. That kind of things. Like there will always be a streamer person or a technical person to help you out during the time. So you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So Next, I want to ask is that you
Hmm.
streamed a lot of events, plenty
Yeah.
that are under your belt now, from once in a lifetime events to events that happen every week, month, day, year, you name it. If possible, what is one of your favorite events you've ever had the privilege of streaming?
Okay, so if you look into my on Discord, if you look to my Discord like status thing, my Discord profile, I have a Tony VOD channel. I save VODs in. I didn't update it really right now because I've got to upload some of them,
Mm,
but the ones that I am fully appreciative about, one of them is the Squids for Palestinian Kids.
mm,
That one I'm really appreciative about to stream because the environment vibe, honestly, like it was so nice it was so nice to go to, like to was so nice to hear,
mm,
and that was the first time that I was able to use amp actually, and able to control the music. So I put on some hype song during that time, and it was so good during that time. It was a hype grand finals with the music. Another one was a Jolland because they were made by FIFLO, made by JJ. It was basically just a fun. It was just basically a group fun team tournament environment that was made for mid-level tournaments,
mm,
mid-level teams, and we made that happen. Like JJ helped make that happen. Case helped make that happen. I helped make that happen with the stream itself, and Blue helped with the graphics. So
mm,
and Sasu helped with that, with the background logistics, all that stuff. It was just basically free flow making a tournament, and that's what we want to see as well. Like for people who wants to like branch out to do another thing, making a tournament that's for a cause, and that's what JJ thought about. And
mm.
being helping with that, like fully behind the scenes, I was proud to help make that happen, and it went like super well too. Like like the outcome of it was so
Yeah.
good that everyone like liked it so much. So yeah, that was another thing I was proud about. Metro Inc. Silver Bracket. I made that happen. That was on my birthday, funny enough. The stream, uh, it was okay. I wasn't streaming it, by the way. It was someone else streaming it. But because of Tyrant, because of Craft, because of Lily's team, funny enough as well, based on the name, we got to make that happen because for LCS, if you noticed actually, funny enough, there was no silver bracket streams on any of the streams that happened.
Yeah, that's
Like,
right. Because they were all focused
so
on the top bracket.
yeah, so Lily because of that, we decided, me, Tywin, Lily, DM Lily is saying like, oh, we should do a solo bracket like off stream because we didn't really make that happen, and because we split both our teams, both our groups and servers. So we decided to make that happen. I made the whole graphics behind it. I made the whole graphic pack for that. Lily made some assets for it, the art. Like if you saw the art, avatar art for that, that was from Lily, and we made that happen ourselves. And that one I really loved making it because like it's something in the LCS that didn't happen that we should have made it happen, that should have happened, but we didn't made it happen as a
Yeah.
community, as a group. But also it's because of me flexing for the first one of the first times, like how I can make a graphics package, how I can make something on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things I did. So yeah, basically the best things online was SPFK, Jollet, Measuring Silver, and for Dapple, uh, honestly the 20XX was kind of good, but I think the golden padding pools were nice to see, honestly, to do at the sort of times.
Yeah.
But
No.
land wise, yeah, but land wise, best thing I got to do, Booyah Bay and Sunset Surge. Honestly, hands out was the best things that I got to do because for both of them, I helped to make the stream package. I actually streamed it myself. I got help from the community members. It was a whole all a good vibe, good environment. So because of that, like those two are the best hands down. But Sea Battle, I gotta get my heart out too because Staff, Fusion, Tokapa, like they're all so helpful, especially Saf and Fusion. Like Saf still wants to learn how to do like spec M, how to do like all the overlay stuff
Yeah.
from me. So yeah, like and from Ellie as well. I cannot. forget about Ellie. So yeah, Lily, like see about like Kingdom Hearts 2, and then Metro Inc. Honestly, like Jen got it in the bag. I'm just there for spec gaming. Same with Bethesda as well.
Yeah,
So
they
yeah,
they have control there.
yep. So yeah, so yeah, I think that's answers your question. The best event that I streamed was all the one-offs, basically, and lands.
Honestly that makes sense to me. And to me, I think that's like the perfect answer for it. Because I mean, I don't think I would have been surprised if you said, oh yeah, like a weekly triangle. You know what I mean? Like like just a tournament that happened so frequently. It's just having able to have that opportunity to stream those for really for some events, which is a really a once in a lifetime event, um,
Hmm.
can make all the difference. And um, of course, I'm not surprised with lands. Lands are lands. I would have been shocked if you didn't
Yeah.
say lands at all.
Yeah, no. If I didn't say lands, it would have been a shocker because I would have been a player, and
Yeah.
that would have been one of the better environments during that time. But yeah, no, literally, like, yeah, no, lands are the best thing to happen to go for any kind of event because
Hmm.
you get to see your thing in action, and you get to control it in action too if you are the main streamer.
Hmm.
But yeah. And also, I can say funny enough, like because of all this experience, shout out to Milana during LTC 2024, who literally when I like talked to, like Milana recognized me as the streamer guy.
That's honestly such a cool thing to be recognized as.
100%, yeah. And that video from Milana's LTC vlog will never happen unless it does happen when this vlog comes out. We'll see.
Someone just clip and send to Milan and be like, "Hey, you need to finish that LTC video, please."
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, but yeah, honestly, again, this goes back to what I said earlier about like for streaming events, the best events that you will stream is obviously will be lands. Like
Hmm.
the land championships, obviously, like it came out to be a huge thing altogether. Like that was a cool event. The finals were a cool event. There is some caveats because the replay system didn't work. JPEG says because of CPU encoding. It's a 50-50 on that because CPU encoding can actually blow up your computer.
Oh.
Sav's computer was having a lot of issues during this time, and also because just in general, like this whole format as well. Because I saw like one of the comments from Dio, saying about like there wasn't enough gameplay being shown.
Hmm.
The one thing as well because of that was because of we only had the gameplay feed. We didn't have the actual streams.
Yeah.
There was a way that we could do that, but that came across the mind. There was a miscommunication there that it was supposed to be streams and not the gameplay only.
Hmm.
So that's why there wasn't enough gameplay being shown because we only had the game feed. So we had to hop around to hide that so we don't like leak the password to the games and stuff. So yeah, that's the communication about that. If anyone was wondering about that, but LCS was a good event in the end. It was a
Hmm.
fun event. It was one of the events of the lifetime to actually even happen because again, having 8 lands show up and communicate together to make this finals happen is a cool thing to happen.
Yeah.
And it was so nice to be a part of it and being a part of the mainstream, being trusted to be the mainstream out of all the other things as well. Because during the funny enough, during my one-to-one with JPEG to set it up, JPEG literally said most of the time like, "Oh, but you already know how to do this." So yeah, literally like having that trust from everyone is just another like good warm hearting feeling
Hmm.
that you get that you have if if you keep on doing this for so long. Like if you get recognized to be someone who's well trusted in that like main high tier of streaming, you get to know that from everyone and you'll get your things from that. And yeah, honestly, like even a couple days ago from the CCA staff, they just made like a whole like a blog message saying like thanks from all the other staff, and I was actually like warm-hearted from that too.
Hmm.
So yeah, like getting to have this kind of connection and be known to be like one of the streamers of all time in Splatoon, it's just one of the greatest thing to actually like finally recognize now because it's coming to full force like nowadays for me. I'm not self-doubting can screw yourself over and will screw yourself over if you keep that in your mind.
Hmm.
But if you take away of that, like you'll know and you recognize that your job and why you're here is important. And if being a streamer is important, like being commentator is important, being a TO is important. Everyone keeps eyes on saying that TOs are important. Like TOs are the main people who to worry about. Streamers and commentators are like, well, okay, no, in the tier list it's TOs, commentators, then streamers at the bottom tier to worry about. Streamers needs to be recognized more,
Hmm.
and doing something like this like recognizes them so much that it helps so much and recognizes us on what we do, and it even helps like even like give us some like good thoughts on it because we're finally like being recognized for our work and being appreciated of that. And I can say also as well, if you remember the Pop Gun Awards 2024 at the end, the people who were recognized, Ink Fair, Jub, and Ellie. And then Popkin really just did a sideman saying like, oh yeah, the Joryan said a lot of things too, and like, well, come on, Popcorn. But
Classic popgun, dude.
well, I say Popcorn mode for real. But
Definitely,
yeah.
it's nice to get recognized for your hard work, and I feel a lot of people need to recognize more than just TOs when it comes to events, because yes, TOs are helpful when it comes to help desk or just making sure the tournament runs, but to have the games for you to view and to be able to watch is where the commentators come into play. The streamers for sure come into play, because without the streamers, there's no games being viewed, and for commentators to even commentate. So there's more parts to the staff that need to be recognized than just the main people who are kind of like, in a sense, the face of the tournament, um, which are the people that like host it in general.
100%. So if you it's so yeah, if you look at a stream that's being like streamed like in any tournament or even for Splatoon 20, be sure to thank your streamer and thank your commentator. And this goes out to commentator as well. Be sure to thank your streamer. Just because some people don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So remember to do that because they take their time to be here to put out this content for you. And if you don't say thanks back, why are they here?
Yeah.
Like
No, yeah, for real.
like literally right now, you're here with me doing this podcast. It's almost been an hour 30,
Mm-hmm.
but like take the time out of your day, take a time to be with me doing this stream to have a conversation about this. Like that is something to be recognized for.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm thanking you for being here. You chose to accept this.
Yeah, it's a 50-50, but
Yeah, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's being able to give that spotlight, you know what I mean, and recognize
Mhm.
you for all the work you've put into it, um, and realizing that you've been such a huge, an important part into the community when it's come to progressing forward into being able to showcase a lot of what the scene has to offer from our players. And many people don't realize, like, the players are only half the battle, and the
Mhm.
TOs are the other half, but the TOs has such a tree of breakdown that it follows suit, that we need to start recognizing more of those people individually rather than just grouping them up under just the simple word TO.
Yes, definitely. And like the graphics people as well. We need to thank them as
Yes,
well.
yes. Those are a lot of times those art graphics come out beautifully, and we don't give enough credit to those that make them happen.
Yep. So like, in one of the positive things as well too, like if you saw Principic or FTIU, like under pressure tournament streams,
Hmm.
they have a credit screen. That should be like recognized and more to happen. But I know, and a lot of people know, like the time and effort that takes. Like you have to build that phrase and then make the graphic and send it over. That might be like taking more time for weekly. So it's understandable why it doesn't happen, but that's where the commentators come in to say things, and that's why like during an end of a season for a like league or stuff like that,
Hmm.
that's why we have the credits.
Yeah.
Like yeah, that's how you recognize people is by saying things and doing all that by having credit screen. Like being recognized like that is a good way to help out and be appreciative for the streamers and the staff, all like that.
Most definitely, absolutely. So, as we're running near the last couple questions I have, the next one on the list is what are some things that you'd like to see other people that are maybe currently already streaming other events or people that are trying to get into it? What would you like them to start doing that maybe you've noticed? Now, obviously, you gave a lot of great tips so far throughout this podcast of like what people should do when they're first starting off, et cetera, et cetera. But how about let's jump a little bit further to say the people that already started, right? Let's say they're
Mhm.
streaming the weeklies or these new tournaments that keep popping up every single weekend or every single day.
Oh yeah, no.
What are some things you'd like to see them start doing that can help improve the event experience?
So one thing is take the spec cam tips to heart. Like from what was said over this whole podcast. The spec cam tips will help you so much and it will help you commentators. Other thing, commentators. Help your commentators be able to like vibe better by any chance because if you notice some Splatoon tournament streams, the commentators themselves they're 50-50. I'm not just showing shit to anyone, but I'm saying this. For commentators, there could be a vibe of like chill good, chill bad, and then hype. You would want to have the hype or chill good. Chill bad is if they don't know what to say, like don't know what to speak about, and there's a lot of dead air. If you have someone like those, have tips, like have them say something or like give them tips to say something. Or honestly, like if you're not shy enough, just have your mic on and be
Mm-hmm.
able to talk with them at the same time too. Because a weekly, honestly, it's a chill environment. Honestly, like it's a weekly. You come back every week. Nothing new happens with the team, so why not let's have some fun and have you in the mix. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're not shy enough, you can turn on your mic and have fun with that. And that's really if you're looking paddling pool for the past couple of weeks. Like that's why there's a bracket scene that I do to show the bracket. And ever since paddling pool, I think 313. I just I had the reactive Fuji images, so they have a face. And then after that, I just added more gimmicks to it, like a knickknacks. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally on my birthday, I added like the confetti and stuff, and just the one before that, I added the Pepe pointing meme to Splatoon 4. Like one thing is for some tournaments, like if you're bored, honestly, like add gimmicks to have fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
Ali added Bad Apple to the overlay. Like that's one thing as well. That's fun. Another thing would be music. Split. This is some shit to Splatoon 20, but not really. Because the streamers don't know how to like actually change it or set it up like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you because of the Nintendo guideline rules that happened in 2022 or 2023, if I remember correctly, or what's it 2024? I don't remember.
2023.
2023. So yeah, basically ever since 2023, we were not allowed to play Splatoon music anymore. In quotations, because we know in from our side, in the streamer side, that Nintendo doesn't actually give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I swore during the stream, hopefully it's okay. But it should be, right? Is
Um,
it okay that I swear?
yeah, you're fine. Yeah, yeah, that's all good.
Okay, then okay, good. Then yes, Splatoon. Yeah, Nintendo doesn't give a shit because they have so much stuff worried on their back right now, like the Switch 2, that they cannot really focus on a Splatoon stream or like a tournament weekly. That really you can't play Splatoon music again. But still don't do it because there's so much better music than Splatoon music because it was so bored of Splatoon music already. So like, really play other music, download some soundtracks from YouTube or something like that and just play it. Play
Mm-hmm.
your own music for fun. Because Splatoon music gets boring. We have now allowed access to play any other OSTs from all the game franchises that we like, that we most likely downloaded from. So yeah, play those. So you have a good experience for yourself. Others might have a good experience from themselves recognizing the music and saying like, oh, that streamer had good taste. So yeah, that's one tip as well. Change the music. Another thing, replays. If you have a stream deck, or yeah, if you have a stream deck, that'll make your life so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a keyboard, that still is a good way to start replays because you can add a macro to do a replay and then have a replay system on there. Now, replays are a double-edged sword as well because there's two different type of replays. One replay is from like what you see from Ludi Tonight and from Under Pressure. doing one 30-second clip using a macro called the Instant Replay plugin. That is a 50-50 plugin that works because for some people, it doesn't work as well. And you still have to do it manually. Literally for me, I do a replay system that is like multiple replays going on like from the game. And there's like 6-second replays. And they play back to back right after. It requires a lot of more work, but it's better because it's not just the end of the game. It's highlights that you chose to actually make them look like to make them have the content to talk about. That's one thing. And also it helps you as a streamer to learn about what to like capture next time or like what's good. So for your spec gaming, you can actually focus on that again because say if the replay has like a play that's more focused on a lot. Focus on the player because they're gonna be good at something. So if you can do replays, do it. But I know it's like could be CPU or GPU intensive or too much hands-on for the first-time streamers to do that. So yeah, later on, if you know how to do it, or if you have like a tool like a macro board, try to have replays in your stream. It will help you so much and help entertainment wise. It'll help a little bit, but for your commentators, it will help them so much for having them talk about something other than the map, other than some other shenanigans. Keep them focused on the setting themselves.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Because when your commentators are bored, the viewer gets bored. When the viewer gets
Yep.
bored, that's how you just start losing people for your stream. So that's why you got to be able to keep things exciting, keep things flavorful.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, literally on that, the main things that I would say for streams nowadays is change your music to be something entertaining, like other video game OSTs that you like. There's another one would be a spec cam. Just work on your spec cam because you are showing the action to everyone. Commentators is like a side note basic thing, but that's if you're comfortable enough. But yeah, replays is really just my main thing because yeah, I think I'm one of the people who grassrooted replays out of Splatoon journey and out of Splatoon journey. I made replays happen on Dapple Productions and other places. So yeah.
Yep, they keep things interesting, and it's a great way for commentators to keep talking about that match. That's not just based off of memory, right? They're able to recall moments throughout those games. It's able to relive those moments for also the viewers as well to realize like, hey, these were really good moments, and here's why.
Yep, that's 100% why replays are very crucial, and also that you get learned that at broadcast television as well. If you go into like sports, so yeah, it's something that in the general aspect, if you go out of production from here into sports, you'll already have that knowledge already, but you'll be using something else called Tornado, which is more confusing. But you don't need to use that because you have the replay platform on OBS, and that's way more simple.
Hey, anything to make your lives easier. That's the good way to go about it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so that's for the streamer side of things. What about
Mhm.
things that you would like to see maybe TOs and or commentators do that will help out the streamers, or that maybe they can be doing in general for the community as a whole, that when it comes to their events they're hosting, that maybe make it more entertaining, maybe make it the streamers' lives easier, or the spec cam easier, things like that.
So for the TO side first, already it's graphics would be one thing. Because if your graphics are the same thing, or if it's not like evolutionized from before, evolutionize it. That'll be one good thing. If your streamer doesn't really know how to do Sundu or want a bracket, have them have a bracket match with you. So that's a good thing to help them out. Give them a holding hand during the bracket. That's really all the main things I could say with the TO side, because other than stop making tournaments, like we have too many tournaments already and less streamers. So like if you want to have streamers to do that, like nah. Like and also one thing as well, let the streamers have breaks. So like for weekly, let's not make it a weekly. Like let's not have streams weekly. Let's have it bi-weekly if it's only one streamer. Like or let's try to have a swap of streamers every time. But if the streamer says yes, like yeah, go for it. But honestly, let like the streamers that streams every week, let them have a break. Like if there's no streaming and if there's no commentators by the time they say yes to it, like just take the week off. Like
Mm-hmm.
let the streamers and let the commentators who does weeklies every time have a week off. And also, this is a kind of a shout to one of the tournaments that's happening today. If there's no commentators in 24 hours, or you put a commentator listing out 24 hours before, there's a high likely chance you will not have commentators. So be sure to have commentators like listings like 48 hours before, 72 hours before. Basically, like have a ping saying like, we're doing a stream. We need commentators like a couple days before. That'll help you out so much. IPL Dapple does that, so that's good on them. But for your grassroots tournaments, you'll need that to be efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Now for commentators, because again, we're both commentators ourselves. But yeah, we're both commentators ourselves, and we both have our own vibes.
Yeah.
One thing in vibe wise we want to know, or that you would want to know, is don't be a passive commentator. What do I mean by passive commentator is you're shy, you don't really say as much. Like, you do not want that on a stream. If you see that on stream, or you see someone that does have a lot of game knowledge, there is two ways to counter that. One, have a extroverted commentator with that passive commentator, so they will be the carry. Or the other way is really just for the other commentator, if they're like a neutral to aggressive commentator, aggressive is the extrovert commentator, have them lay questions to the passive commentator to let them feed like their way into being able to talk out more, being able to say things. But you will never want to have a passive commentator with a passive commentator.
Mm-hmm.
Like two people who doesn't really know what the game is or what to say. Because if you lead that to happen, and I have experience with that during that time, I am just like, what the talk? Say something. I literally I genuinely am uninterested, and I
Mm-hmm.
literally just take off my headphones and just watch a video on the side, and just have
Just
it
have
on
it open.
autopilot
Yes.
because,
Yeah.
yeah, because if they're not entertained, like if your commentators are not entertaining, or they don't say it as much, or they don't know what to say, you really just there to just join the game and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So for the commentators out there who are passive, who like doesn't know like if they doesn't know how to speak as much, be just try something. Say
Mm-hmm.
anything. That's really the main thing that matters. And if the other commentator helps you lead you into a way to say something, like keep that going. Like keep that vibe going. Even if you don't know what they're saying, just try to take out keywords from what they say and follow from that. Because that's how a commentary should go. A commentary should just be a conversation, from
Mm-hmm.
what a lot of people say, like Rose does. So yeah, if you have a commentary like a conversation, you're good there because you're just talking. You're
Yeah.
just talking about the game. Now for the commentators nowadays, if you're super serious, don't be.
Mm-hmm.
Like like you can be super serious in like a major setting, like the LCS is good, like Riptide stuff like that is good. But if it's the group stage, day one during Riptide or LTC, you don't need to be serious. You you don't need to be super monotone. Be like a little bit expressive because you're literally just there. You're already known as a commentator,
Mm-hmm.
most likely. You get to say stuff. You get to be your own thing. You're your own personality. And obviously, Cactus, you have your own personality. You have your own kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Hammy and Chat, Hammy has their own vibe. Like literally, as well, like Visu, who did a commentary for the and SE a long time ago, and for Pounding Pool a long time ago as well. They literally came in to do a commentator once and they were fine. Genie from a long time ago, Toronto commentator, had their own personality as well.
Yeah.
Like, try to have your own personality in commentary, and that will help you a lot. And also, at the same time, too, again, don't be super serious all the time. If you're super serious all the time, that's good for professional portfolio, but
Mm-hmm.
honestly, you don't need to do that all the time because, like, don't think you're serious, that's good, but as a person or as a player, like they might think you're the other way, like being super serious all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to do that because you're just a human being.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be your own self, and that's the main thing that matters. And at the same time, too, honestly, for me, like for my personality, I started to be analytical, like that kind of way into color. But honestly, at this point, I don't give a shit. I just say whatever I want to say. Like
Yeah,
you get like
yeah.
literally just being like this kind of tone, being this kind of like talking. Because again, like I say, I do also commentary, and funny enough, for Scrim, I commentated for like a day ago or 2 days ago. No, I think it was a day ago yesterday. I literally just yapped about the players because I knew about the players already. I knew about the maps already. I just said my opinion on it and no one gave a shit. The commentators were passive because yeah, they were just there. They were just there to just fill as well. So I actually can take the breaths. So yeah, literally because of that. If you have a passive and a extroverted commentator or aggressive commentator, have that, you are a fucking vibe right there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I could speak to that like of starting off on one play style and going to or sorry, commentary style to another. I used to be very colorful with my commentary, but I've switched to kind of being like a little bit of colorful but also analytical a little bit more when I commentate if there's certain things I'm noticing. And I think that just has to do with like depending on who I commentate because sometimes they'll have a moment where
Hmm.
it's like they're being very colorful and saying what's going on. So then I'll switch off and be like, okay, let me talk about like what the defensive team needs to do, what the offensive
Hmm.
team needs to do, depending on what I'm seeing on the screen. And I'll just keep switching between those two. And then
Hmm.
that's just what's comfortable for my style of it. I mean, but like you said, yeah, just try things. Just try things when you
Hmm.
commentate. As someone who's been commentating for oh god, when did Splatoon tourney start? Was that 2022?
Splatoon's that was in like 2022, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So someone who's been commentating since the start of Splatoon tourney, since that was my commentary breakthrough, I can tell you, you could probably still find one of my original commentary times when I think I commentated with what was his name?
Was it
He was a brush
was it
player.
2022? Was it 2022 or 2023?
I want to say it was like end of 2022, wasn't it?
And 2022 going to 2023, yeah,
Yeah,
mostly like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But my commentary
Bus
was just
player.
so bad.
Oh yeah, no,
It was just
they
like saying what I saw on the screen, but like it was through that though that I was like, okay. Like I heard what the other person with me was just saying, and I was like, I might just say whatever then. And from there,
yeah.
I just kind of you just build your own style. You know, you can't be afraid of like just like trying to be perfect all the time. Just the one thing just to remember is just don't curse. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't curse
Yeah.
and don't talk bad about the players. That's all you have to
Oh,
do.
yeah, I might have missed that last up a couple times, and that might be the reason why I got banned from comedy from one tournament or one organization. So yeah,
but
uh,
regardless, you know,
yeah,
it's one of those things you can learn with time. And you know,
hmm.
if you there's a lot of people I always see too that always want to get into commentating at lands, whether that's a major or a local, and sometimes they don't really break through that barrier yet. And a lot of times it's because you got
Hmm.
to work on your portfolio for that, right? What are
Yeah,
online events you're going to commentate for? For me, I started with
hmm.
Splatoon tourneys literally tonight. From there, I was able to
Hmm.
move on to, day one Loinks. I moved on
Yeah,
to the Squid Junctions, the most weekend tournaments in general that I could find. And
hmm.
then from there, over time, the more I was commentating, the more I just submitted applications for lands I was going to, and eventually,
Hmm.
one day it happened. You know what I mean? I was like, they
Yeah.
were like, I think it was an LTC or a Riptide. Uh, I remember getting the DM for being like, hey, like we want to select you to be a commentator, and I was like, whoa, like this is
That
crazy.
what? But the thing is, what website though?
Oh my goodness, which one was it?
Was it? What are you talking about the winter 2023 with me?
Was it that one? I think it was that
We
one. I
we
think
both commented. Yeah,
yes, because we
day
commented on the
two.
secondary stream, right? We commented on
Yep.
Chara's stream. Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
there was that one. And I could say on that one 100% our commentary vibe was something.
Yo, never forget.
Like,
Yo, never forget Pikachu Kermit. Never forget.
no, honestly, like that Pikachu bit, honestly, like I tried to follow into every single land, but I forgot the Pikachu ears, and Pikachu ears are getting too small. So literally just the brownie chew. The big fat Pikachu that I bought with me with Fufu commentated when you were Kermit and you had an E-liter
Oh
and I was in
yeah.
the Matrix during that time. Yeah, no, that was the greatest bet of all time.
Oh,
Honestly,
that was
no one
so
could beat that.
good. Oh my
No one could beat
god.
that. But literally, like that, if you have a full lance, honestly, like if full commentators, full lance, have a bet with you, honestly, if you can. Like
Yeah.
wear something goofy. Bring a plushie.
Yeah.
Make it VTuber flashy of all sakes. Like, do that. Make the stream a little bit more entertaining from yourself because Outlands, you can bring whatever you want.
I mean, somebody
Just don't
brought
bring
a
anything offensive.
listen. Somebody brought a brick. All right, like you could.
Oh my god. The funny thing enough, I think that was a Canadian.
You know what? More power to him. I'm surprised they even got into the venue with it. But
Oh no, I'm saying.
yeah, no, absolutely. Bring like a little prop with you. You know what I mean? And like, I'm sure if you ever tune into like Riptide streams, or back then if you find the low tide city vods, or even just your locals, right? Any local streams,
Mm,
they have a prop on them with it, whether it's the couches, the tables, you name it. You know, they have something there to share. Whether the commentators are wearing it or it's just there on the desk.
mm,
They are sharing what they're interested in and being able to have something that's like, really cool to look at and if anything, talk about on the streams. I'll never forget when I
yeah.
commentated, I think it was the last LTC with Fufu. Um,
Mm.
we had a tower of plushies. We just kept trying to like organize while we were in between games and just talking to the chat. And that just helped
I
kill so much time.
I think that was Whiptide.
Or was
That
it
wasn't
Riptide
LC.
maybe? I couldn't
That
remember.
was Whiptide.
I just
That was
remember
Whiptide.
the commentary desks felt very similar.
Yeah, that was Whiptide. That was
Riptide,
Whiptide because
yes.
LDC didn't the final LTC didn't have that.
Got it.
So
Okay. So yeah, so it was
yeah,
Riptide then. Yeah, we were able to just make with what we had, and that helps so much.
yeah, 100%. So like, really at the same time for saying about like the gimmicks or the gags, like really on the couch commentary for Metro Inc. Really main topic at the start of the event because we were the opener. Like funny enough, I think usually if you saw me commenting, I am usually the opener. Funny story about
Hmm.
that. But literally like in the openers for like Metro Inc. What me and Topic did, Topic had Black Yoshi. There was a Black Yoshi pick that came from H Town as well from Blocket. We coordinated that, so yeah. If you want to know how that happened, that was planned. And also, we had Pokemon pack openings at the start. So, like that's a gag you can do. That's
Yeah.
fun. And also, I bought Gumagoo. That's another thing as well. But who cares about that?
Yeah. Have fun when you go to these events, and you know what? Even like you said before, when it comes to like online tournaments, right? Let's say like you want to have
Mm,
something fun to talk about as well. That's where your streamers, when they play certain music, can come into play, right? Or maybe if they notice something
mhm,
about a player's name or something, that's where you
mhm.
get the opportunity to just talk about that random stuff. Um, while you're in between matches or in between games, you know what I mean? Just be able to pop that out there, being like,
Mm.
if a player has their name as like some kind of like, character from an anime or something, and if you know what that's from, feel free to toss that in there. Or ideally, if your other commentator is like you mentioned, if you're able to pair certain commentators, like maybe like the ones that are more passive and the ones that are more uh
Aggressive.
aggressive, you could sometimes be if you're a passive commentator, be the question person, right? I've sometimes when I've commentated way back in the day, I remember having, because I was very explosive and very hype inducing with my commentary,
Mhm.
that I always had the other person just kind of ask me all types of questions, like, what are you expecting to see come up from the players on this next game? Like, what weapons are you seeing? What kind of play style you think they're gonna play to try to come back from this 1-0, or like a 2-2 into a game five? Like,
Mm.
what can they do to bring it home? Like things like that. Ask those kind of questions that really, like, for you, maybe like you're not interested in it, right? And you don't have to be, but it helps
Yeah.
keep things going and helps no break any silence.
Yep. Basically, that's a good commentator tip. Basically, if you want to, like, if you're a passive to aggressive one, just, yeah, be the question person. But don't question all the time.
Yeah.
Be able to
Yes.
talk about something because, yeah, if
Yes.
you're questioning all the time, it'll be hard for the aggressive commentator to actually say anything, and then they'll need to lead on to be a carrier during the whole stream. So,
Hmm.
yeah, be able to say some stuff, but be able to question at the same time, too, for a passive commentator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Mm,
All right. Well, that seems to be the last of my questions I had. I know I had one more that was like, any tips you have for people like wanting to start, but we've kind of went over that entirely this entire podcast,
yeah. Yeah,
which
we
is
went through
fine.
that every single time.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. Honestly, that is probably one of the best things to happen. Um,
Mhm,
so we're at the point where I like to kind of toss the mic over to the guest. So for today, it is you, to kind of
mhm.
say whatever you'd like to say. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave us with? Any last second tips, or just in general, anything you wanted to discuss or talk about? The floor is yours.
So one thing, Top Gun. Wow. Okay, I can't believe you called at me, and I feel like, but I can't believe you literally just screwed over like Dio to literally have us do your weekly
God.
recap. Like honestly, like we should like honestly, Katsu, you should steal that next time, honestly,
I should
because
steal his intro
it's
next too. Just
you just yeah, honestly, you only did it like 5 times, so you can do it again.
yeah.
But like main thing as well, like for the streamers, for the commentators, but mainly for the streamers, we need more streamers. If
Mhm.
you're a streamer already, just start getting into production because we need more people like you because you already have the computer, you already have the assets for it. Like you already have the computer for it. Why not just keep on going? Like literally for CKK, CKK has like a Ryzen 5 CPU and a GTX 1080
Mhm.
GPU and can still stream for like Dapple tournaments. If you have like that's the minimum specs. If you're running an off SAS computer though, yeah, that could be another thing. But literally, you're like if you're running off a computer like CKK, a Ryzen 5 with a GTX 1080, you are good enough to stream anything. Go out there and help us out because we need streamers.
Mhm.
For commentators, again, just come out and come commentate. Literally look at you players. Come and commentate because if you come out to commentate, you'll be recognized as a player if you commentate. Like literally, if you look at Char's tweet or like any other tweets like Kyo's, I think saying that literally people need to have content to be able to be recognized more. That's one way to be recognized. Commentate. Be able to help out like right there. Uh, anything else? Be able to watch the Splatoon 20 finals for Ludi. That's coming up this weekend. There is other events always happening during the time, so if you want to play in tournaments, you can. But also, join the Splatoon broadcaster server. You need to get the link from that in your description, by the way, for YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
Like
Thank
join,
you.
like join that because that will be your first stepstone into learning and into getting the Splatoon commentary and getting to Splatoon production. If you want to join that, that would be really appreciated. By the way, if you join that too, because Pat does want that, like we said earlier. Dabble, we need more commentators as well. We need a break for the weekly warriors of weekly commentators. And honestly, you maybe get to see me come up, but maybe see like other streamers coming up as well. And also for the for the OG streamers and commentators, like thank you for your service because you've helped us bring a stepstone to where we are today. And again, I can always just shout out Ellie, JPEG, Ink Fair, and also Falco for helping make the Splatoon tournament environment streaming wise to where we are today. And also shout out Jub, and also shout out the Moo, even though the Moo is retired now, and Jub does only LSL, that I think is slowly giving some of their like praise to I think Wings, who does stream for Splatoon 20 as well. So yeah, like there's just slowly is a branching like arc now for streamers that we are branching out to get more streamers. And also as well in the other sense of literally just me, you can find me on Joryan. I'm gonna try to make tutorials about how to stream soon enough, and that'll be fun. And also, I'm trying to just rip your guts as well, Cactus, because I made the Chillcast. So I'm so yeah. If you want to hear more podcasts about production people, I've listened to that soon because that'll be popping up somewhere soon enough. You'll find out my Blue Sky on Blue Sky. Joanne51 is on my Twitter. I kind of post there. I don't really post there as much, but really, I might go back into Splatoon Gmod art again, which has a whole story on itself. But really, nowadays, because people know stuff like Blender being looking good again, and that kind of fire with Gmod as a film is kind of burning down, I'm feeling inspired to do art again. So yeah, if you want to see some Gmod art, I mean, most likely you'll see it there. And for me streaming, you find me streaming again in most likely every tournament known to man. Soon enough because of that. Equals sense to keep every stream consistent to look well, but also at the same time you can find me streaming on Joryan too, where I stream whenever I am free or whenever I actually play in a tournament. And but also mainly find me playing Osu on 6WC4 hopefully, because I'm going to try to represent Canada, and I'm still a 6 digit after 7 years. And I'm actually trying to be a hidden player. I'm actually trying to get on the A team this time. But yeah, you'll mostly be finding the streams on the OSU category. If you see it, I stream on there too sometimes. But really, the main thing is in the sense of streaming and for streaming and commentating, and also even TOing. Like, if you just go out there and try it, like try to get help, like I try to ask for help, like ask how I could do it, like to any streamer. Well, depending on the streamer, depending on the commentator,
Mhm.
and depending on the TO, if you ask for help, they will help you out, and they might give you the slide into you literally try to do it as well. And definitely try to do it at a LAN, because at a LAN they need volunteers. Streamer, commentator, but commentator is a maybe, but streamer and TOing for pool manager, that is your chance to volunteer and help us out. That is your main thing to get your ways to slide into the door into Splatoon production.
Such amazing advice and an amazing closeout from you, Joryan. Thank you so much for not only coming onto the podcast to discuss everything that we've been talking about for the past 2 hours, but just in general, giving so much great information that a lot of people can use, not only for themselves, but maybe lend information to other people. And people can always come back to this and watch back and get that knowledge. But also,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for all that you do in this community. Truly, you are one of the greats in the production side of the scene. And honestly, there's a lot that wouldn't have happened if you weren't here to really lead the way and create the path for many people to follow suit. So truly, thank you so much. Um, that's, of course, all that I have. And that is the closeouts from you. So I want to once again thank you so much for coming out, and thank you all for watching or listening, I should say. Right, this is a podcast. You listen to this.
Yeah.
Uh,
But also, we forgot to shout out. Thank you, Alice and Pinky, for helping set this up to actually happen for you on the Cactus Patch to actually make this a thing. Because we're at 33 episodes now.
we
30,
are 30, 32,
32,
32.
32. Yeah, 32 episodes that happened in basically a year and a half. It's still consistent on this channel. So yeah, thank you, Pinky and Alice, for letting this happen to be a thing and making and having access to be happening on the Dapple dashboard that us streamers on the Dapple side can steal for the chillcast.
Hey, hand in hand,
Uh,
we're all helping each other one way or another. Right, right.
yep,
Yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah, no, totally.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
yeah, but yeah, Cactus, since this is the end, you need to still shout out your socials. So what is
Yes,
that?
I should. Yes. So, thank you all for watching this episode of the Cactus Patch. If you want more from me, you could find me on, of course, my YouTube and pretty much all social media, Blue Sky, Twitter, at Glitch Cactus. I do, of course, stream on Twitch. I'm streaming every single day of the year at Glitch Cactus 1. That I think today is day 124 or 125. So I'll be
Well,
streaming
Cactus.
soon.
Okay, streaming soon. Think good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, don't worry.
Good.
I know. Don't worry. I
Okay,
know
good.
it's. I'm probably gonna stream in maybe like 30 minutes. We'll see. I want to get a little bit of a dinner in me.
Well,
Before.
though, Cactus, doesn't this count if you do this?
It's not my channel, so I don't count it. If it's on my channel,
Uh,
yeah,
well, okay, fine. That makes sense. But
yeah.
damn, you could just you just take a break sometime and say that this counts if you do a podcast. Technically,
Maybe I might have to.
yeah.
It's all right. It's coming soon with when I go to MomoCon. We'll be back to having some IRL streams. Those are gonna be really fun. Um,
Oh yeah.
Listen, my goal for those is as long as I can stream for at least a half hour, because then the connection I get sometimes is really really bad. So as long as I can
Hmm.
stream for at least a half hour on my phone, it's a success.
Oh yeah, no, honestly, like if I assume the idea that you could do just IRL stream for 30 minutes just at nearby your place and that's it.
Yeah.
But just a 30-minute stream of just you sleeping.
Yeah, no,
Done.
or just like when we get back from the day of the tournament, just be like, okay, here's what happened.
Yes, no, 100%. Literally, that's a good stream ending.
Yeah, or we'll just watch back the VOD on like the Twitch channel that's up.
Yep. Yep. That's a solid idea right there.
The
Uh,
future is gonna be exciting, but yes, that is all from us here. That is where you could find me. That is where you could find Jorian from his socials he listed before. That is all from us here on today's episode of the Cactus Patch. Appreciate every single one of you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye from Kermit and bye from Jax.